regular picture of Uranus and it says our anus and it shows a communist red Uranus, like that, that's another classic jock move. It's like big chungles type cringe in the
Yeah.
middle of saying something based. I sent a meme back that said, "My life is just a cycle of learning and forgetting and relearning and reforgetting," and that's such a good meme. And he said, "So what are your plans with college?" I said, I'm doing it right now, but if I keep doing it, I will tear teachers' eyes out, fill their sockets with honey, and hold their kids' eyes open while fire ants eat their brain." Most disappointing shit I've ever seen. Doing college makes me pray AI scrapes us off the planet. We get God's gift of life and we make ourselves squander it on this disgusting, pitiful. And he said, "Well, bro, just know I am in fuck it we ball territory right now. So like, I want to rip this shit and conquer the world, but maybe that's my ego." And I said, "It is, but that ego's fine until it gets in the way, which it will. Then kill it." And he said, and I said, "You have to be above any of the little egos, whip them all into shape." And he said, "What do you think about women? Like the ego there. It's strong." Or I don't know if ego is the right word. "Being in love is a drug and it's maybe worth it." And I said, "I have no thoughts on women. They're weird. I don't know if they are all retarded or if it's just confirmation bias. I think it's probably just that statistically I talk to women less frequently than men, so I'm not as likely to come in contact with a female that thinks. I used to think all women were retarded until I realized all men are retarded. Now the question is just which one's more retarded, and I don't know. I'm surprised I've never even heard a book or video from a woman that was uniquely creative, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was more socio-cultural conditioning than actual biological traits." And he says, "Men and women are parts that fit together. Women exist passively, so have a lot more indirect manipulation and intuition. I love women." And I said, "I've never met a woman with good intuition." And he said, "They're built to follow us, I believe." And I hearted that and said, "Women make terrible listeners." It goes back to my classic joke, which is, get women the fuck out of the kitchen. I do not want them cooking for me. Get their hands the fuck away from my dishes. I'll do it myself, goddammit. But that is legitimately the way I feel. It's like, like Jacques, like the Jacques is trying to do like the red pill thing, which is like women should be subordinate to you. And I will always say, it's like, get them the fuck out of my way. Get them away from me. Get them out of my house and away from the things that I'm trying to do. Literally, it would take more time to get them to competently execute a task than it would to just do it yourself. Just fucking do it yourself. But like I said, I don't think that really is a fault of women being women. I don't think that's inherent to women. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know that for a fact. But my experiences would tell me that all women are retarded. But my understanding of the world would tell me it's probably more sociocultural conditioning than biology.
You should take a women's studies class and discuss that with the professor.
Yeah. Oh, a woman's study class. I'm sure they've got lots of insightful things to say.
I'm absolutely certain.
I bet you could do a good women's studies class, but I bet it is the antithesis of that. I bet if I was a woman and I took a women's studies class, I would be so disgusted. But so anyways, I said, he said they're built to follow us, I believe. He said women exist passively, so they have a lot more indirect manipulation and intuition. I said, I've never met a woman with good intuition, perhaps manipulation. And he said, they're built to follow us. I said, women are terrible listeners. He said, haha, you gay. I don't know. You have to be the strong one. They can't fix your problems. I said, I have no interest in forcing someone to think like me. That's more disgusting than someone who disagrees, man or woman. If you're merely a parrot, I loathe you. And he says, I don't know. It's not like that. I just think I'm ultimately incomplete without a woman. I said, no, you're addicted. And he said, and I think you disagree with some of this. So jump in where you disagree with my takes on this. He says, or I cannot fulfill my greatest potential. There is power and passion to be found there. I said, what do they add to your potential that you could not achieve on your own? He says, once you're purified as an individual, you can amplify it with a woman. I said, there is power and passion to be found in any medium. The question is the time consumption. I don't buy that at all, not women or men. Anytime you depend on someone else, prepare to be fucked. You've set your trap. He says, you have to be independent first, and then they are a compliment. I said, you should never not be independent. I'm not saying hate women and isolate. I have different friends with benefits regularly. Women are really exhilarating to be around. They can get you high. And he says, nah, yeah, you're way more successful with women than me, at least in that sense. Maybe I should listen. And I said, my lifestyle isn't any more or less admirable. Just a question of efficiency. More bodies does not equate to more fun, but it can, and it's less time consuming. He says, love and heartbreak have been integral to my development. They propel me forward, but I'm a pretty insecure or immature person. Or it's like I'm moving awkwardly through life, slowly refining, and they're efficient catalysts. And I said, nothing wrong with love and heartbreak. The same way there's nothing wrong with heroin. And he says, hell yeah, the advice I needed. I'm getting into bullshit word soup territory. I'm gonna tap out. Gotta get ready to meet someone as well. And I said, Godspeed, soldier. He said, definitely call soon. I missed this. And I said, yes, try tomorrow. Me too, brother. Me too. The good old days part 2 gotta start. He says, sweet. We could be starving in a cobalt mine right now. I have no idea what he meant by that. No idea.
Wait, say it
No
again in
idea.
context.
This is the last couple sentences. Hell yeah. I said, women, heroin, same thing. He said, hell yeah, advice I needed. I'm gonna go meet someone. I said, Godspeed. He said, definitely call soon. I missed this. And I said, hell yeah, good old days part 2 about to start. And he says, we could be starving in a cobalt mine right now.
We could be. Well, is
you're
that
not wrong.
is that at all related to? Didn't he talk about going to Africa at one point?
I don't think so.
That can't be hallucination. I thought like he at least discussed the idea of like instead of going to California, like going to Africa or something.
Maybe that did happen. Although even if that did happen, which I wouldn't be surprised if it happened, I don't remember, but I would not be surprised at all to hear that that is true. I don't think that he would even be referencing that. Like, I think
Yeah,
that is just like that's just a classic Jacques move. Not even
just
like
a
a
classic
crazy Jacques
Jacques,
move.
classic
Yeah,
Jacques
that's
joke.
not even like a sign of Jacques being schizophrenic. That's just like that is just a part of Jacques in any of his forms. And he said, last thing, do you think guarding your heart and being selective about love is good, or just ripping that shit? My philosophy has been, I'm a fall hard and watch it burn, but maybe that damages my ability to bond. And I said, I don't think that it damages your ability to bond, but I think it's going to make you waste a lot of valuable time. Many would say I'm damagingly selective, perfectionist. But like I said, love is like heroin. If you're gonna do it, you better make sure it's worth it. And he said, I know what you mean, definitely. Wasted my life for a bitch just now. Wiped myself out. Yeah. And I said, wasted years for nothing. Sickening stuff. He says, it was just straight out of depression. I was given this enticing love and I went for it. Going months without being able to connect with anyone and an intense love is a trip. And I said, yeah, that's not the worst thing. Like a sad movie, depressing but also beautiful. He said, you're right. You said quote unquote pussy. So, the joke he's making is that I'm calling him a pussy. But he said, yeah. Peace, bro. Talk soon. I said toodaloo. That was it. So, anyways, pretty good conversation. Like you can tell, he's doing quite well. Like he's pretty intellectually stimulating, pretty like on par, keeping up with the ideas.
Yeah, there's like a magic
Re-summarizing it
behind
to
his
me.
words.
Yeah, he's got that spark. You can tell he's got that fucking spark back. 100%. And
Is
of
he
course,
saying
it
so? Is
aligns.
he saying that like this is from his perspective? Is this whatever he's going through? Is this new? Has he always been like this? Like where is he at in comparison to like let's say a few months ago or over the summer?
No, he said very clearly, even the message I just read to you, that he just got back this week. In the same way I just got back this week to like the peak. Like in other words, this is the first week where like you heard me say